normally I like to check whatever weapons, whatever rifles or whatever that I'm going to use for this year's deer season, or I even think I might use. I like to get those, check them on the bench to make sure that the zero's okay and everything's fine with it. And normally I try to do that by September. Anyway, actually by the 1st of September, preferably in August. But this year so many things happen that I'm a little bit late getting started. It's actually second day of fall, and I'm just now getting out here to get started. So first gun I'm going to use to check the zero on is a Ruger #1 7mm Remington mag. It's if any of you watched the channel before, you've seen this one in action. It's my primary long-range gun. And so when I'm hunting out here in Quigley, when I stand here on the farm, that's usually a long-range proposition. 250 yards is a relatively close shot. So, but anyway, this is my primary rifle that I will use in the Quigley, although I do use several others. And I shoot a 160 grain Nosler Accubon bullets in it. And like a lot of ammo these days, those bullets can be hard to find and ridiculously expensive. So anyway, I'm going to set me up a target. I've got precious few loaded rounds and no bullets left, but got a few loaded rounds here. And I'm going to fire 2 of them. 2 of them to begin with. And if they go anywhere near where I want them to go, then I'm going to consider that good, because when I left off last year with this gun, last year it was shooting like it should. And this gun, I've used it for many, many years, and only once have I ever had to rechange the zero, and that was probably due to a change in powders. That I went from an old to a new powder. But anyway, I'm going to set me up a target, fire a couple of rounds, and like I said, this Ruger #1 7mm mag will be the first gun that I check out for, get checked out for this year's deer season. So let me get me a target loaded up here. So I'm going to well, I think the heat this summer is trying to dry my tape out a little bit. So we'll see. started in here. It's not going to be exceptionally hot today, but it is going to be some warm. I'll get things set up here. Get the sling off so it won't interfere with anything. Need to raise my wrist a tiny little bit. A small adjustment on the wrist makes a big difference out there. Any kind of distance. Oh yeah. You want to be able to get on your wrist and be sitting pretty much upright. You want to be sitting up, you don't want to be hunkered way down on it for several reasons. Not the least of which is help avoid getting scope ring in your forehead. Oh, pretty good. Give me some earmuffs, some ear protection on here. Well, where are you? So here goes. Here goes first round. Alright. See where she goes. Close to where I want. Number 2. Set up my spot and scope. See what I've got. Whatever it is, that's probably going to be whatever it is. Yeah, We're gonna have to fire 3 because that first one will have to be a fouling shot. If I had unlimited unlimited components, I'd be glad to shoot a little more, but those are going to have to suffice. Looks like not the rifle needs to be fired a few times and to foul the barrel just a bit more, but right now the accuracy is plenty good. It looks like probably ½ inch maybe, something like that. And I'm usually a stickler. I've got to keep on shooting until I get everything as close to perfect as possible. In other words, I like to get really really good accuracy, but my gosh, it's certainly not needful as far as hunting goes. You don't have to have them touching, or less than ½ inch or 3/8 inch or 3/4. You don't have to have that stuff, but it's nice, and I certainly like to have it. With the limited reloading components that I've got now and the expense of them, it's just going to have to stay where it is. And I guarantee you, any deer that I shoot at with it won't know the difference. But I'll go out there and take a quick look at the target. Okay, this is my fouling shot right here. The next two here, they're about no more than 3/4 of an inch, if that. But even with the fouling shot, it's just a little over an inch. But if I was to keep shooting, foul that barrel out, they should tighten up and be right in here. They should be less than ½ inch. But this is 3/4 of an inch. That's good enough. Now that's where I'm going to leave it. I want it 3 inches high, which is right here. So it's looking pretty good. It's going to stay that way for the remainder of the deer season with this Ruger No. 1 7mm mag. So that's going to do it for today with this fine looking, great looking Ruger No. 1 medium sporter. And it's got a 26-inch barrel, 7mm Remington mag. That's going to be it for today on that, man. I'm not any shots fired the rest of this year. Now this gun's going to be fired at some sort of a critter, deer, bear, or coyote. That's it. So I only got about 7 or 8 loaded rounds left for. Lord have mercy. Got to find some more components and run down that rich uncle of mine, see if I can't get enough dinero to buy some of this expensive reloading equipment, reload supplies today. Holy moly. Amazing what the cost of shooting is going to. I think that's by design, personally. But gone are the days when shooting was economical. Probably never see those again. Anyway, I'm going to put this gun aside, go get me another deer rifle and see how it's shooting today. So, I go back in the house and dig out another rifle. And it is also a Ruger number 1. And it's also a 7mm. But it's a 7x57, not a 7mm mag. Now, if anybody that's followed my channel at all for any length of time at all, look at, you know that this is my favorite, all-time favorite deer rifle. It's the Ruger number 1, RSI, or International. Little short thing, I mean, little short carbine that just handles like a dream, carries like a dream. It's an awesome rifle. It's my all-time favorite. Matter of fact, I have no idea how much game this rifle's taken. Certainly a lot. But even on the first elk hunts I ever went on, I got 2 bull elk. And in camp, I had that 7mm mag hanging in camp. But I took this little 7x57. Got my first elk with it. First 2 elk. It's a great little rifle. I love this thing. And I went back in, got the ammo for it. I've got 6, count them, 6 loaded rounds, and that's it. Because I shoot the same bullet, the Nosler Accubon. I shoot the Nosler Accubon in this little 7x57. Same bullet. I shoot in that 7mm mag. And I shoot it in my 708 BLR. Nosler Accubon. That's a great bullet. And checking in my bullet supply in there, and I've got maybe 10 at the most bullets. Nosler Accubon bullets. And I'm going to shoot 2 or 3 of these 7x57s today. Like I said, I've only gotten 6. And depending upon what I do today, whether the first 2 or 3, how they look. In other words, I'll keep those 10 or so bullets handy. And if I'll start the season in that 7mm mag with 7 loaded rounds, and I may start this season with 2 or 3 loaded rounds for 7x57. We'll see. But anyway, I've got in reserve, I've got, like I said, somewhere about 10. I didn't count it, but it looked like about 10 bullets that I can load in whichever 7mm that I might need to load them in. So, and most likely this season, I know out here at the farm I'll use either the 7x57 or a 7mm mag as far as 7mm go here on the farm. So I've got that. I got a few bullets that that I can load for either the Magnum or the 57, whichever one I might need. So let me fire a couple of rounds, see how this little International's doing. About the little 757s doing. It usually does wonderful. We'll see. And get two off before that light barrel heats up. Holy moly. What went wrong there? Heavens to Betsy. I don't like, I hate to do this, but I gotta shoot one more. This little thing's normally a tack driving piece of plunder. Oh, it's okay. For whatever reason, it's shooting about an inch, not way less than an inch that it should be shooting. But whatever it is, I'm going to let it sit right there because it's good enough for this. Certainly good enough to deer hunt with all season, so I'm going to leave it right there. You know how hard that is for me too. Usually it has to be perfect, right exactly where I want it to be, or I'm not satisfied. And it's got to be shooting an accuracy that I'm a real stickler for. But with no more ammo than I've got, I'm going to make myself for a change. Just shoot it like it is. It's fine. It's fine. Why neither one of these two rifles are shooting up to their full potential, I don't know. But probably need to be cleaned, or they need to be shot and fouled with enough, whatever. But I haven't got the components to do all that with. So I'm going for a change. I'm going to make myself go with the way it is. The zero's fine, the accuracy's fine. It's not great, but it's okay. It's not like these rifles should be shooting by any means. but I'm gonna let it go. I simply have neither the time, the components, or even the money it'd take to do all the shooting that I'd like to do to get these exactly where I want it. So I'm going, instead of being exact, I'm going to settle for good enough. That'll certainly be something different for me. So I'll put up a little 7x7, shooting good enough. Oh, I love. You'd go back and look. I've got videos up of shooting all these guns, and they're absolute tack drivers. Could it be that I'm actually off a little bit today? If it is, I ain't going to admit it. Anyhow, let's go get another one. Try it out. And now I've got the third rifle out here to check the zero on today. And again, it is another Ruger number 1. This one is a light sporter in 30-06 caliber. If any of you that follow the channel kind of closely, you've actually seen several videos that features all these rifles, all of them. And this rifle here, I gave to a friend of mine 50 years ago. And he gave it back to me last summer. He was sick. I mean, he'd been really sick for a long time. He hadn't used a gun in 10 or 12 years or longer. And he had paralyzed. And he gave me this gun back last year. And I took it. And that's the rifle that I hunted with virtually the whole season. And I took 2 really nice bucks at fairly long distance, one at about 250 and the other just shy of 300 with this rifle. I refer to it as Gary's rifle. But anyway, there again, it is a Ruger number 1, 30-06. You might gather I like the Ruger number 1. I love the Ruger number 1. Anyway, I'm going to shoot a few rounds on the bench and see what it does. Okay. See what the trusty AUK-6 will do. Let me just go ahead and get them fired off here before that light barrel heats up. Very good. Very good. A little less than an inch. Got where I wanted this height wise. So all three of them are fine. All three are just great. Okay. I mean, they may not be absolutely perfect, but they're good enough. And good enough in this case is good. They're really good. Heavens to Betsy. That's the least amount of shooting that I've ever done. Getting ready for deer season. Now I've got more shooting that I'm going to do, of course, but with my three primary, call them long range rifles. These are my rifles that I normally cover in the 250, 300, a little bit, maybe up to maybe 330 yards here on the farm. My long range deer getters. And they're all three ready and up to the task, I'm sure of that. They may not be absolutely perfect at 100 yards, but they're doggone good. But what I really did is I have them, if you go back and look at a video that I put up last year, food plot rifles. These rifles were set up for the food plot distance, which is about 250 yards, where they'd be really close to being on at 250 yards. And then they are whatever they happen to be at 100 yards. Whereas normally, if I'm shooting 100 yards, I want everything about 3 inches high. And that theoretically gives me a long, it tells me what I'm going to be doing out there and gives me a good point blank range. But whenever I can, I will set up a target at the ranges that I want to know and I want to hit at, which would be that 250, 300 yards. And I will shoot there. Then come back and check it at 100 yards, and sometimes it may be just a touch higher, above 3 inches high, and it might be a little less than 3 inches high. But last time these were shot, they were checked at the longer ranges, and that's where they were really dead on that. And so I'm just checking it at 100 yards. And the 7mm mag is a bit lower than 3 inches at 100 yards. The 7x57 is probably a half inch over the 3 inches, probably 3.5 inches high. And a 30-06, it's about 3 inches high, maybe 3 1/4, something like that. Anyway, they're just a little above 3 inches high at 100 yards. So they're pretty good. So, as far as long range or farm hunting here, whether it be hunting this farm, which is primarily what they're set up for, or if I'm going to be hunting one of the farms on up country, I'll probably no doubt be using one of these three rifles. And all three of them are ready to roll. Least amount of shooting I've ever done, get three rifles ready. I just shoot them, and they are where they are, and they're going to stay right there, and they're perfectly fine. So, that's my long range. My three primary long range guns are set up. They're ready to go. So now I'll bring out and fire a couple of woods rifles, maybe. In case I want to walk the woods with a center fire, I'll dig out one of my lever actions and fire a couple of rounds through one of them. But then you'll be back to what I'm really going to concentrate on this year hunting with is flintlocks. I will concentrate with primarily two. A Dixie Gun Works, an old Dixie Gun Works that I've had for a long, long time, probably 50 years. A Dixie Gun Works Tennessee Poor Boy. Wonderful rifle. Love that rifle. And my new Kibler Woods Runner that I just got this year. So I'm going to do a little bit of iron sight shooting with centerfire. And I'm going to get around to back to doing testing my flintlocks out a little more. So this season is going to be my primary goal is flintlocks. But anyway, I'll go out there and take my targets up and put these three rifles up. Dig out something else here in a little while. So here are the three absolutely beautiful, great deer rifles. 7mm mag with its long 26-inch barrel. That's the medium sporter. This is, and this is the number 1 7x7 RSI or International. It's got a short 20-inch barrel. The light sporter has a 22-inch light contour barrel. The medium sporter has a 26-inch heavier barrel. All three of these gentlemen are wonderful rifles. They are absolutely great deer rifles, every last one of them. And every last one of them has certainly taken their share of game. All of them. This one has taken, no doubt, the most game because I've carried it the most, the little 7x7 International. My God, it's taken, I had one box of loaded ammo that I killed 2 bull elk, 8 8-point bucks, 3 turkeys and a groundhog with, and still had a few rounds left over. That's just out of one box. And this one has taken, the 7mm mag has taken a lot of really long range whitetails. And this little 30-06, it took my 2 really good bucks last year and several in the way distant past for me. And of course Gary used it, but Gary passed away, and so I'm using his rifle. That's Gary's rifle, so it's still getting the job done. 3 great deer rifles. So at any rate, I've got my open country deer hunting rifles ready. The three that I'm most likely to use this year. Those are 3 of my favorites, and that's probably what I will use for my open country longer range deer hunting this year, and I've got those ready. So at least I got that accomplished today. I've got my woods rifles, which will probably be some form of a lever action, probably. I got to decide on 1 or 2 of those and drag them out, put them on the bench and make sure they're hitting all right. Then get back to what I'm really looking forward to, like I said, is flintlock season. So at any rate, the open country guns are raring to go now. Let's just start working on the short range rascals here pretty soon. Talk soon.